society organizes annual scientific conference for its members. It's an opportunity for all nutritionists across the country to meet at least once in a year, to interact, to share experiences on programs, on research outcomes, and so on and so forth. This year's conference, ensuring healthy diet through food system transformation, that theme is very unique because if you notice, the United Nations General Assembly is currently meeting, and one of the features of that meeting is to also have a summit on food system. Globally, we have found out that the level of hunger and malnutrition is increasing, rising from so many drivers, and we also have a situation where we have double burden of disease and double burden of malnutrition. We have a large number of people that are undernourished, and we also have a specific number of people that are overnourished. So you have a situation where you have malnutrition, are characterized by stunting, wasting, and underweight among children, particularly under 5 children. We also have issues of iron deficiency anemia among women of reproductive age, as well as children. And we also have the high incidence of non-communicable diseases like diabetes and obesity, among the adults. So you have a mixed breed of overnutrition and undernutrition in the country. And these are products of the food system, because we have this situation because of what we eat. A number of people are having inadequate food intake, and so they become malnourished. And we have a number of people who are having excessive intake or intake of food that are not healthy, which has resulted in high level of non-communicable disease in our society. That is also another killer, particularly among adult Nigerians. So we have chosen this theme for this year to see how can we ensure healthy diet through fixing and transforming our food system. By food system, we mean all activities that happen from when you select the seed that you want to plant, production of crops, harvesting, processing, storage, distribution and marketing, until it gets to the table when the consumer will consume it. The entire spectrum of that activity is what is referred to as the food system. So if we fix that, can we ensure that people have access to healthy foods? Can we ensure that they have access to nutritious foods? Can they afford to buy those foods? Can we ensure the safety of those foods? Can we ensure that consumers have adequate knowledge and education on how to combine those foods in order to remain healthy? This is the essence of our
All right, how does the NCN tend to fix the food system?
The issue of the food system is not a one-man show. It's an effort that must bring all stakeholders together, right from government, farmers, industries, marketers, even financial institutions, including the consumers. So it's a joint thing. It's not something that one person can fix, because if you look at the spectrum of activities that I just mentioned, there are a whole number of players. If you also listen to some of the presentations here, a number of stakeholders have been identified that must all come together, each of them with their own specific role to ensure that we fix the food system, to ensure that our people have access to healthy diets. Well, let me tell you that there is no doubt that we have an increasing number of people that are no hungry every day. In the population of our country, one that is very, very common that we know is that we have a large number of children that are stunted. And I think close to 1 in every 2 in 5 children in the country, are stunted. And this is a very serious problem, because when you look at it, it's children that will grow to become adolescents, that will become adults, that will also, contribute to national economic development if they have, the mental capacity, the ability to do so, and they remain healthy. But when you look at it, malnutrition is eaten deep into the family pulse because of ill health. When a child is malnourished, such children are prone to frequent illnesses, and of course, the family spend more money on taking care of the head rather than preventing them becoming ill through consumption of adequate food and diet, that will keep them healthy. So we have that kind of a problem in the country, and we know even among adult population, the Bureau of Statistics, have also informed us that poverty is also increasing in the country, and so poverty is also an underlying factor, for malnutrition, because when you are poor, you are not able to afford, good and healthy diet. You tend to concentrate more on carbohydrate diet, which tends to, become monotonous and then, manifest as a malnutrition. In terms of the proportion of malnutrition across the country, we have a situation based on the NDHS figure. There's more of hunger malnutrition across the northern part of the country, but we must also be mindful that due to problem of insecurity across the country, this is also creeping to other zones. So there's no zone that is left out of this now, right? But it's more up there, and interestingly, that is the area where food is majorly produced in the country. So you can link the issue of insecurity, banditry, and so on and so forth to the manifestation of hunger and malnutrition in the country, and as well as malnutrition. Well, first of all, the enabling environment must be created for farmers to produce, good food, to increase production. That is usually the goal of any government. So the government must fix the issue of security as an important, priority of government to ensure that we have steady food production in the country, so that farmers can go to their farms without fear of being attacked and so on and so forth. So this is very important, that is an important aspect that government must fix as a matter of priority. Apart from that, government must also support farmers, particularly in terms of what kind of seeds. We have a number of technological breakthrough now, particularly in terms of getting access to food that are rich in essential nutrients. For example, we must have heard about biofortification. There are biofortified foods now, like during flesh, sweet potato, like zinc rice, and so on and so forth. A number of these are expected to be introduced and make accessible to farmers so that they can grow food that will really, enrich our table with diets that are appropriate for our health. The issue of GMO is a very controversial one. People are talking of GMO in countries where they have abundant food supply. This is a region. Africa as a continent is still have inadequate food being produced. So if we have a technology that can, ensure that farmers have, a good harvest, considering the amount of land that they till, I think that's a welcome development to me, to ensure that first of all we have abundant food supply. With the issue of controversy around GMO, is still right, but we can't be talking of our concern for that now without first of all ensuring that we have adequate food supply to cater for our teeming population. So it's an area that we must tread softly. There are other technologies that are not GMO, that are not genetically engineered technology. For example, the issue of biofertilizer that I mentioned, it's not GMO. So Nigeria can adopt that, hold her, and then to ensure that we have adequate production of foods that are very, very nutritious. The issue of fertilizer is another one, because when farmers till land over and over, particularly for a particular crop, you have a situation where the soil fertility is depleted, and we must keep the soil fertile in order for us to produce. But then we need to educate the farmers on what proportion of some of these fertilizers to use, so that there are no abuses, because some of these chemicals in the fertilizers also get into these foods, and then they are, propagated over a long time, before they can, get out of the human system. So we need the education of farmers, and then we can also encourage organic fertilizer.